There you go now.
I think I'm
Oh, let's see.
Comedy Central Radio,
Laugh USA,
Raw Dog Comedy, more exclusive comedy.
Netflix is a joke.
Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud. I'm telling you, people, being funny on the radio.
more classic comedy,
Comedy greats.
more down-home comedy,
Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup.
and more stuff you can't hear anywhere else.
He's so funny on Sirius XM. Comedy by women.
To hear the SiriusXM comedy channels, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
You deserve the best. With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
A quiet summer vacation? As if. You should be getting jiggy with 90s on 9 summer anthems.
Welcome to
From pop to grunge and hip hop to R&B. Tap into the 90s summer anthems mix now in the SXM app. And chillax with the decade's biggest hits all summer long on SiriusXM 90s on 9.
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Hey, I'm Gus Lloyd, host of Seize the Day. You can hear me weekday mornings from 7:30 to 10 a.m. East on the Catholic Channel on Sirius XM 129. I tell my listeners every day that my vision of our show is just a big old family sitting around a big round breakfast table enjoying some coffee and some great conversation. We share stories about our lives, our families, and, yeah, our faith. I think you'll really enjoy it. So join me weekday mornings on the Catholic Channel, Sirius XM 129.
To hear Seize the Day on the Catholic Channel, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Charlton of Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe, and that would include you too. As it always should. What a beautiful day. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton said shit ya, where the good Lord split ya. And give that some praise on a beautiful August the 7th, 2023. Got a little bit different show today. Gonna have a professional boxer calling in by the name of, I'm telling you, when I tell you, before I introduce Marcellus stands about 7 feet tall. Marcellus Brown is the father of Jaylen Brown, and also have Dwayne Wade calling in. Going to have them talking about some things that are going on in the world of sports and what they're working on. So today's a little bit different show on a Monday. My name is Big C. I'm going to come back in just a moment, and we'll get some athletes on to talk to you about what's going on in their neck of the woods.
you doing? My name is Dwayne Wade Sr. How you doing, my brother?
I feel blessed, man. I feel blessed. How about you guys?
Hey, we blessed too. We got you on the phone. That means we blessed too.
Well, God woke us all up, so I guess we got to pay homage to where it really comes from. But primarily, I want to first of all say thank you. And I'll do my show a little bit later today. Would love to just get your thoughts on some things that are important to you. I read your bio also. And Marcellus, you have an impressive bio. You want to keep boxing?
No, I'm done boxing.
Hell no, you don't want to fucking keep. Hey, hold on. First thing I want to know is, are you recording this?
No, not right now. I'm just talking to you right now.
No, you need to push record. You need to push record.
Oh, well, hold on. I want to set it up so when I do go recording, then I want to have it what he wants it. And so...
You need to have it where we want it. You need to push record, right? You need to push record, goddammit.
Now
I'm over here. I need you to record this shit we talking about. So you push record, and let's go back and start all over. Because you need to push record.
Well, hold on. There's no profanity in my show because I give it to a lot of youth, too. And I want them to look up to black men. So I don't use profanity at all. And then I'm also, with the church. I want the pastors to see that what I'm talking about is not just sports. I really want to be a seminal moment in the lives of black people. I mean, all people, but black people first. That's just how I roll. But I don't use profanity, and I want kids to listen to grown men who've succeeded. And they can see that there's a good way to get success and get also the respect of our elders, if that makes sense to you. But I always... All
right, well, let's roll with that because we can play roles. You know we can play roles, so let's go.
No worries, but this is what I do. My show doesn't start till later today, but I always try to find out what the guests want so I can feed you what you're asking for, if that makes sense. So I have... Go ahead. I have his bio. So in a nutshell, tell me what you want to accomplish with the interview today.
Who's talking to me or Mr. Brown?
Mr. Brown.
You.
Okay,
we together.
Or either one
We're doing an NBA show called NBA Dads. Wait, tell him. You go ahead and tell him.
All right, so you want me to take the ham?
I want to ask whoever can win a fight in a 3-round fight. So you tell me who goes first.
Well, he gonna win the fight, but hey, this is the weirdest thing. That both of us was boxing in our lifetime.
Okay.
Both of us was boxing, so we both been messed up.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Hold on, Dwayne. We're gonna ask him who can win a 3-point contest. Also, so you get your chance.
I'm gonna win that too. He's 7 feet tall, so I would have had to hit him at his knees to break him down. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah. But no, let me take the ham there. Let me take the ham. I'm Dwayne Wade Sr. Let me take the ham. I mean, just basically in life, man, we've been going through a lot of things as dads.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I want respect about is dads. Nobody gives us respect. Nobody gives us a ham and say, hey, y'all brought us in this world. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to be respected. We need to be relevant. And that's what I'm trying to achieve in life right now. I'm trying to achieve relevancy for fathers, and I think that we deserve it. I mean, like, it's fathers all across the world.
Yeah.
No matter if you rich or you poor or, you whatever you are, a lawyer, a doctor,
yeah,
we all are dads, and we all have kids, and we all go through things, right?
Yeah.
And so we need to be examples for the world to see, and the world is not ready, I guess, for fathers because we've never had a platform. So the main thing for me as Dwayne Wade Sr. is to have a platform for fathers across the world, no matter what you are, athlete, entertainer, attorney, doctor. I need to have relevancy as a man, as a father. That's who I am, and that's why I'm on this. So I'm on this call.
I love what you're saying, Mr. Wade. Also, just not everybody knows who you are, your story. So talk to our youngsters out there, because a lot of young people, they're on their own thing. If you're over 20, they may not even care about you. So just give about a minute as to who you are, why they should listen to you if you're on your road travel, if you don't mind.
All right, so for me, Dwayne Wade Sr., for the last 40 plus years, I've done a not-for-profit called Pro Pop. I actually started out with Us for Kids and Kids for Us, and it turned over into a pro foundation.
Yes.
For the last 40 plus years, I've been trying to bring fathers and children together. The relevancy of fatherhood is not listened to as close as should be, because, kids look at it like my father's not in my household.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that you don't love your father. Because your father is not with your mother doesn't mean you don't love him. So my thing is that we need to understand what love is, what fatherhood is, what reality is, what relativity is.
Yes.
And once kids understand what love and reality is,
yes,
they will understand that it took two people to bring you in the world.
Yes, it does.
It took only two people to bring you in the world.
Yes.
And without those two people, you couldn't be who you are, the name you are, and you couldn't look how you look.
Yes.
And so if your father didn't do anything sexually or something like that to turn you against him, I think that you need to find out who your father is, if he's still alive.
Yeah.
And love on him because he brought you in this world. That's who I am. Across the board, that's who I am. I've been around 100,000 families. I reconnected over 100,000 families. Father and children.
Yes.
I got two awards, one Obama, one Biden. You know what I'm saying? And I got doctor's degree for bringing children back together. My thing is this: I love people.
Yeah.
I love fatherhood. I'm one of the greatest fathers in the world. My son is going to be going to the Hall of Fame. I'm not just pulling my coattail.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, you can achieve anything you want in the world. Even though I came from nothing,
yeah,
my son rose to be great. And the same with Mr. Brown, that's going to get on the phone after me. His son rose to be great no matter what they've been through. And they have a history of being great.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown has a history of being great. But let me tell you something. Me and my son has never had a history of being great until today. But my father was one of the greatest athletes coming up when I didn't know because he wasn't in my life.
Yes.
I found him later on in my life, and we got in touch, and we became great friends, even though he wasn't in my life. And this is what kids don't understand.
Yes.
When fathers leave you, it's not just because of the father. It might be because of the mama don't want to have nothing to do with the father no more.
Yeah.
So you got to understand that it's two people that bring you in the world. Without those two people, you couldn't be who you are.
That's very true.
The greatest momentum in the world is being who you are because of two people. And I'm just going to say that. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying about that.
Yeah.
But that's the momentum in the world that everybody should carry. Like, without my mom and dad, I couldn't be this, regardless of who my dad and who my mama are and what they became.
Yes.
So that's who I am. So my partner, Marcellus Brown, I know he got a lot to say coming up, and I love this guy. And you know what? We are two of a kind because we are so the same on different avenues, right?
Yes.
I know his son is doing great things, and my son has done great things.
Yes.
And my son is out of the league. His son is in the league.
Yes.
But it's not about that. It's about fatherhood. It's about greatness. It's about instilling greatness in our children.
Let me ask you a question because you piqued my mind, Mr. Wade, when I asked you a question about yourself, and you talked about connecting fathers and sons. I think it's very beautiful, and we really haven't had that platform, but we have it now because we control the narrative. So when someone says, "Tell me about yourself," professionally compared to as a father, what would you say professionally you're most proud of, and then as a father?
When you say professionally I'm proud of, are you talking about my son?
No, about you, your career. When people look at black men, they say, "What do you do?" And
you talking about me?
Yeah.
Hey, I was in the Army, So I've seen everything when it comes to the Army. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want to know my story with that.
Right.
But I've been in the Army, and that showed me how to become a man and how to navigate the world.
Yes.
And that's who taught me everything. The military taught me everything. So I'm a military dude.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing that I ever been through, other than me being born to my mom and my dad.
Right, right. And then what would you say made you the most proud as a father for your son's career?
Oh, man, you know what? And I tell this story all the time. I still have not understood what my son has brought to this world as a great player, because when he was coming up, I always dreamed of my sons being the greatest players, because I was drilling it into them and I was beating them up on the court and all that, right?
Yeah.
But I never dreamed of my son being one of the greatest players in the world.
Yeah.
And for my son to go in the Hall of Fame and be one of the greatest players ever, bruh, that's his magnitude to me. Like, you're one of the greatest dads on earth. You know what I'm saying? Because I put that in him.
Yes.
I said, I want you to be better than me.
Yes.
If you can be better than me, you can achieve anything that you want in life, and he's done it. And I'm so proud of him for what he's done, and I'm excited about this weekend, him going into the Hall of Fame. And I tell you this guy that's coming on next, he's one of my best friends. He's one of the greatest persons that I ever met.
Yes.
And I tell you like this, I love this dude so much, because he's an amazing father. We both are amazing fathers that people don't even know. Like, y'all never, I don't even think you knew who I was until today, right?
Right.
If you ever met me, you would understand who I am.
Yes.
And what I've been through. And you would love the person I am. And this guy that's coming on next, that's why he's one of my greatest friends.
Yes.
My strength, my strong, my everything is because he's one of the greatest dads that I've ever encountered in my years. Now, I had a part in bringing about the #1 fathers organization in America.
Yes.
I was a founder, and he wasn't. And so outside of that, I met him. And this guy right here, he showed me what fatherhood is all about.
Yes.
And I believe that he's one of the greatest dads that you're ever going to speak to, or you ever going to get an interview from.
Mr. Wade.
Other than me.
Mr. Wade, first of all, I want to thank you for your service. I don't think a lot of people understand that. I come from a military father also, so I really do appreciate the service. A lot of black men have served the country, didn't get the GI Bill, and didn't get the same respect that some of our white brethren got. So I commend you for your service for this country. And one more thing I want to say to you before I ask Marcellus a few questions, and I think you've already said it, but faith comes by hearing. We got to hear things over and over and over again, like learning how to box or learning how to play sports. It's the repetition of things that makes you great at it. So if you approach young men to this day, and sometimes our young men, they need some direction. I know people say I'm not a role model, but we all are a role model for the people that we meet. So what's the most important thing that you would like to leave with the young kids that are coming out of high school? Now they're about to become grown men, where they're leaving mama's and daddy's nest. What advice would you give to them about being successful and overcoming any obstacles that you've overcome, if that makes sense to you?
Wow. That's an incredible thing you asked. Let me say this to all of the youth across the world. We all not going to be famous. We're all not going to be great, but we all have greatness in us. And if we work to be the greatest people in the world,
yes,
we will be that person. I want to leave that with all of you. Work hard. My son always asks me, who's your greatest player in the world.
Yes.
And he played in the NBA, and I said Kobe Bryant.
Really?
Because of his work ethic.
Yes.
If everybody worked as hard as Kobe, we all be successful. So I'm going to leave that with y'all, that work like Kobe.
Yes.
Not like Wade.
Yes.
And you'll be the greatest. If not the greatest, you'll be one of the greatest people that this world has on.
Well, I appreciate this. Is Big C Sports talking to Dwayne Wade Sr. I love your story, especially the fact that you serve the country. And oftentimes, as you well know, we come through Jim Crow as black men and didn't have the favor of the country, if that makes sense. A lot of our parents and grandparents, they didn't have the welcome. They didn't have the we love you. They didn't have that. We get that in sports, but as society, we needed affirmative action. We need a lot of things to open doors. So, and it does fall on black men and black women to keep pushing forward no matter how difficult it is. So Mr. Wade, I do appreciate you coming on Big C Sports Podcast. Tell your friends about it. And as we head on to talk to Marcellus, again, thank you very much. And you have taught me something just by listening to you, because you've been in service, like you served the country. And sometimes in our society, many people don't look as black men as men that served our country. They want to look at us as entertainers, or he's an entertainer, or he's an athlete. But we serve this country from the Civil War to everywhere we've had. So I commend you again. Thank you tremendously for your service, and for also talking about how to bring young kids into adulthood, if that makes sense to you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on your show. And I look forward to coming on again and again, talking to you about the world and what we can do to make them effective in this world, because the world is doing different things, but we have to be positive all the time as fathers, as a unity, to make sure that we can make these kids understand what the world is all about.
Well, that's wonderful. I appreciate you very much. This is Charlton of Big C Sports Podcast, talking to some great men. I'm going to come back after we take a pause and talk to Mr. Marcellus Brown, who has such a great history. And thank you so much for your time, young man. I'm going to talk to Mr. Marcellus Brown.
Congratulations, Hall of Fame, D-Wade. Woo, woo, woo.
Yes, D-Wade. Congratulations, Hall of Fame. We know where it came from. We know where he got his jump shot from, so we don't have to worry about that. But I'm going to take a big deep pause. I'm going to come back with Mr. Marcellus Brown and have him talk to us about what he's done in the past, what he's doing now, and what message does he have for the young folks that are going to follow in our footsteps. We'll take a pause, and I'll be back in just a moment.
All right, thank you, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
Man.
Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer. Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. Oh, let's see. Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
Okay, I got that. Got that there. Okay. What the? All right, we're back from the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 27 podcast applications all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. Today's show's a little bit different, just to add on some great moments with athletes, talking about people that make a difference in the world. Love the fact that we have people that have served the country, and Dwayne Wade Sr., who actually served this country, and also talked about some of the things that he's doing in the world of sports. So really do appreciate him, his son, going into the NBA Hall of Fame as well. But also have Marcellus Brown, who has just a great history himself, also a tremendous person as a former boxer, and doing some great things now. I'm going to talk about him with his sports bio, More Than a Conqueror, 2015 WBUCAM heavyweight champion. The man still looks like he could get in the ring. 2016 WBU World Heavyweight Champion, etc. I'm going to bring him on and have him talk about some things that are important to him. We'll take the pause, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 27 podcast applications all over the universe and 4 TV applications on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I have the special privilege of talking to Mr. Marcellus Brown, and his pro sports bio is More Than a Conqueror, 2015 WBU-CAM heavyweight champion, also 2016 WBU World Heavyweight Champion. And then when I think about what he's done, he's a towering guy. 7 feet tall. That's about the size of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But a boxer is 7 feet tall. You got to get in close to his body. Did anybody ever get a sucker punch on you, Mr. Brown?
Oh, yeah, I've been hit a couple times, that's for sure.
Well, Quentin Marcellus Brown Sr., also known as Marcellus Brown, a towering professional in the athletic world and in the health and wellness arena, may have said that 7 feet tall is an imposing figure, but he's also one trainer in front of him that no one can be that tall. His drive and determination allowed him to maintain a professional career that allowed him to make money and to excite audiences all over the country. By boxing standards today, he would have been considered a phenomenon in boxing. He had an outstanding career as an amateur. But I want to get into some of what you're doing right now. You have a long track record of success. Tell us about how you actually got into the world of boxing as a 7 foot tall man. Many people would say we need you to guard Kareem, if that makes sense to you.
Oh, that does make sense. But however, I didn't know I was going to grow this tall. I started boxing at 9. My dad was Ali's sparring partner, along with a couple of Jimmy Ellis and Buster Mathis. You know, those are some of the famous guys back in his era. And I grew up watching him with them, so it just came natural for me to box, and I became really good at it. So
when you grew up, Marcellus, give me. Earlier we had Dwayne Wade Sr. on, talked about fatherhood, also being in the military. What was it like? What did you learn? What's one of the most similar messages from your father that you recall, if that makes sense to you?
My dad was military. He's a Marine, and he went to 2 tours in Nam, so we grew up kind of military. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff kids could do, I couldn't do.
Yes.
And my dad instilled into me to never be a slave.
Yes.
To be self-employed.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Work for no one. And I guess because his childhood and his parents and his parents, I guess, you know, were born into slavery or to only use black-only bathrooms and et cetera and stuff like that. So he wanted the best for us. So all of my father's children, I can actually say, are self-employed.
Wow, that's impressive in itself. That's impressive in itself. I really do appreciate that. You think your father for his service, really do appreciate that. My father was also Air Force as a chief mechanic, making sure that airplanes could fly high. And so, Marcellus, also in your sports bio, you sparred with some great fighters: John Ruiz, Hassan Rockman, Shannon Briggs, Larry Donald, the Bounty Hunter, Riddick Bowe. Also, when you think about some of the Andrew Galata, Oliver McCall, also trained by Floyd Mayweather Sr., Roger Mayweather, Jeff Mayweather, Jimmy Ellis, some more, and some other great ones. What has their training done for you?
Boxing itself taught me to be disciplined, and it kept me off the street because, you know, I come from nothing. And then, of course, being told that you couldn't do this sport drove me to want to do it. So I hope that inspires young youth to, when someone tells you you can't, you know that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you.
Amen.
So, you know, that's just my move. You know, that was just my my belief. You know, I had a lot of grandparents and aunties praying for me. You know what I'm saying? And that it inspired me to just do what other people said I couldn't do. And trust me, they made me feel like I was in a clown, I was in the wrong sport, but it just drove me to be successful.
I'm proud of you for saying that. I also, you know, we're kind of in a similar genre. I was blessed to have my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and my parents as I was a young boy. So the tutelage that I got from them, it shaped who I am today. So you have that similar background, also military too.
I rarely meet people like us.
I know it.
I grew up with both parents.
Yes.
I grew up with both grandparents.
Yep.
And I was a dinosaur in the neighborhood. So
yeah. I understand, and that shows a lot too, because we're talking about this thing with reparations, and President Abraham Lincoln promised it to black Americans when black soldiers joined the Union to defeat the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Confederates. And when he was assassinated, it went away. There's a big pull right now for reparations in the United States, and I talk about it on my program. Other men have talked about it. Jaylen Brown for the Boston Celtics, he brought it up that he wants to bring the Black Wall Street to Boston. I'm so emboldened by that because we need more intelligent, beautiful black men saying that we are more than just sports. We're not going to shut up and dribble. Does that make sense to you?
Oh my God! I'm so proud of my son. I'm so proud of men like Dwayne Wade's sons and, you know, Shaquille O'Neal, guys like that who are doing more than just selling a sneaker. You know what I mean?
Yes. Marcellus, you have, I think you know what you mean when you can talk about your family being self-employed. You know, they just killed affirmative action. Like, so what? Our grandparents didn't have no affirmative action. Most of black folks own their own houses and have their own business.
Got that right.
It was when they passed affirmative action, we start letting go of stuff that we own. And saying, well, can I come over and farm your land so you can get wealthy and then beg you for the food that I helped farm? No. Our ancestors, they didn't have no affirmative action. They had their God action. They prayed in God. They asked God first. They didn't go to ask some politician, can they eat? And so if you can share, because a lot of people follow Big C Sports all over the world, tell young people who are saying, oh my God, they killed affirmative action. What are we going to do now? You didn't even hear that in your household. God. What's the message for them?
What's the message for them, man, is y'all need to really start reading y'all words. Because so many of us gotten away from the words, it's ridiculous. We all into the MTVs and the BETs, and ain't none of that lifting up black people for real.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm reparations now, reparations forever. I will always champion that reparations. I love giving that praise. I'm asking the clergy, I'm asking every sports team to do that and realize our grandparents and great-grandparents, they didn't have affirmative action. And they built the Black Wall Street. That's why I'm so proud of Jaylen talking about that too. So as I thank you for that, I want to go right ahead.
When I tell you, he has put the Brown family under the microscope.
Yeah, and God's got his back. And God's got his back. And you know what? Yes. You know who has his back? Also, his ancestry. Like your grandparents growing up, I'm over the top proud of having this conversation with you. I love talking about what are we going to do when we don't have a uniform on. And so I really appreciate that about him. Marcellus, I do want to go back. Man. Go right ahead if you want to finish up with that, sir.
I'm just so proud of my son because he's not into all the big jewelry and the fancy cars. He's about business, man. And, you know, that came from his heritage.
Yes.
That came from his ancestors.
Yes.
That came from, that's generational.
Yes.
It all came over into him.
Well, it comes out of that love. I was just talking earlier before. I was talking to a business partner earlier today, and when I grew up, the family get-togethers were like Thanksgiving. That's when you have the grandparents, great-grandparents, mom and dad, aunts and uncles, cousins, nieces get together, and we broke bread all the time. It doesn't happen as much now because people are more fractured, it seems. But that's something that I bet you had the same thing growing up. But somebody came over, they just wanted to take a plate of food home, even though they didn't bring nothing. Do you ever have that too, Mr.
I don't know about your house, but at our house, it was I used to come home from school and see people eating at our house, and I didn't even know. My mama could cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My grandmama can cook. We used to come out, I was like, who is these people?
That's what they said. It takes a village to raise a family, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, my mama, same thing.
Everything happened in the kitchen now. I'm going to keep it 100.
And stay out of
Everything happened in the kitchen.
And stay out of the kitchen if you can't cook.
You better believe that.
My mama cooked for the church and the restaurant, and a lot of people just came around to eat, and you're like, who's sitting in my
Some
chair?
people just came to church to eat. Man, come on, man. The kids are who's cooking now.
Hey, they wanted a 5 loaves of fishes, right? But
yeah,
similar background. I wanna touch back on you also, Marcellus. Your pro sports bio. You signed with promoters Art Dorr, Cedric Kushner, and also ending with the great Don King Productions. And then upon retiring, you moved to Hawaii, the great state of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Imagine a 7-foot-tall man on a surfboard in Hawaii. How'd you pull that off?
Hey, really keep it 100. I didn't go near no water.
I thought I would add that to your bio. He's also a world champion surfer. but also, when you think about what you've done, Marcellus, you understand the business of boxing, not just fighting, but the business that happens before you even get into the ring. Can you talk about that and why young men need to know it is a business more than it is a boxing match? Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. See, in my era, the highest education was 9th grade. I'm pretty much in my area, went to college so I could read a little.
Yes.
Or a lot, maybe too much for my own good.
Yes.
I was set on the shelf because I can read and understand contracts a little.
Yes.
And then if I didn't, I had sense enough to take it to someone like an attorney who could. And that kind of got me blackballed.
Oh, really? Why? Why you say that?
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Because a lot of the athletes don't read; they just sign.
Really? Well, that's
Just think about it now. Today they have took writing out of schools.
Yes.
My daughter don't even know how to write her name in cursive.
Really?
Really, they took it out of schools. Like, why would you do that? How is my daughter going to sign her name if you're taking that out of school? It's not needed.
Wow. And now they're doing the artificial intelligence where it can read for you and sign your name for you.
Oh, they doing more than that. They doing it more than that. I can go deep on this show, so deep that it's going to wake people up. People need to be woken up.
Please do.
You know what I'm saying? Because you sign up for food stamps. You sign your child away to the state. You sign up for WIC. You sign your child away to the state. You're no longer the child's parent. You're the child's custodian.
Wow.
Then they can tell you what to do with your child.
Wow. That is deep.
And yeah, they don't read. They just sign.
They just sign and get the check. That's very informative. I love that you're very well read. You're a very smart man, very bright. And I appreciate your comments on the program. Again, this is Big C Sports Podcast. We're heard all over the world on 27 different podcast platforms and streaming live on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Tell some friends about it. Also, Mr. Brown, I want to get back to you again because obviously I guess I didn't do my homework. I thought you were the surfboard champion of the world. So maybe I'll take that out of your bio. Maybe I'm speaking into it. Hey, life's not over now. It can be your bucket list, okay? But but when you think about boxing, after being appointed, and people need to hear this, after being appointed by the governor of Hawaii to the Hawaii State Boxing Commission Board, you made the decision to come out of retirement, if that makes sense to people, to pursue your lifelong dream of a world title fight. And you're currently under the direction of training of E.J. Weathers and Quentin Brown out of beautiful city of Las Vegas, Nevada. Why would you come out of retirement in a plush, comfy lifestyle to get back into the ring with his blood, sweat, and tears?
I did that because I decided my story wasn't finished. So I decided to leave Hawaii as a boxing commissioner, jump back into the boxing game. I did well. I won a world title. I won a small title, then a world title, then defended my world title, and then I retired. I just wanted to show my kids that I can do all things at a late age.
Yeah.
That I really thought I was always before my time.
When you say late age, if you don't mind, we don't mind telling how old. How old are you? Because boxing.
I won my first world title at 46, and I'm 55 now.
Wow, that's amazing. So there's no excuse for anybody to not get up off the bed or off the sofa and do some type of exercise, obviously. But
because you can do all things through Christ.
That's amazing. I really appreciate you saying that. And as we conclude this interview, I want you to just speak from your heart. What can people find out about you going forward? We know you had a career of boxing in the past. You got appointed by the governor of Hawaii for the State Boxing Commission Board. You got back in the ring when a lot of people talk about retiring at 30-something. You got back in the ring later in life. So what can people find out about what you're doing? What's the next thing, the chapter in your life, Marcellus?
Well, right now I'm doing a show with NBA fathers. I'm also have a nonprofit, New Champ Foundation. We help we work with mental illness, people with mental illness, the military, homeless, struggling athletes and stuff like that. I'm also changing lives when I have a for-profit that I'm going to different countries.
Really?
And putting on boxing shows and helping people from rural areas feed their families by putting on these shows, because they make more money on our shows than they've ever made in their entire life. And I changed a lot of lives like that.
What gave you the idea to do that? Because let's just be keeping it real. Oftentimes when you're successful, people keep to themselves. But you're going around the world trying to spread what you're doing, in a sense?
Yeah, I am. But God told me to serve. And most of all, he told me to love.
Yeah.
And there's too much things going on. You hate this, haterade this, hate that, hate all that. It's enough. It's time to get back to the era of love. And we need to love one another and help one another.
Yeah.
Because my man Wade said in the last segment, there's too much people killing each other, too much black on black crime.
I know.
We're the only ones killing each other.
And we got to stop
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So white man taught us how to turn against each other because we're the most beautiful thing on this planet.
9 series DNA. We're the only group with the 9 series in our DNA. Everybody else has 6 series. All life came from Africa. And people need to know that. If we know where we come from, we respect our root better. And I appreciate you saying that.
We should get reparations because of that. Because you trained us to kill each other.
Yeah. Well, reparations is coming.
Because of that alone.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. In fact, Big C Sports Podcast is the only sports show in the universe that talks about reparations, because it was promised to us by President Abraham Lincoln. It's not black people that promised it. President of the United States
Even
did.
though it was promised to us, the white folks was never going to let us see it.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming, and I'm going to announce it when it happens. I'll be one of the first persons in the world to announce it, because there's already some things going on that a lot of people don't know about, but that's going to happen. But also, as we close with you, I'm honored to have you on my program, Mr. Brown, because I normally don't do call-ins. I only do it for special people, and I was referred to you, and I read your bio, and I wanted to hear your story. You're more dynamic in speaking about your story than your bio is. Your bio doesn't come alive the way you do with your voice, especially when you pay homage to your grandparents. That, to me, that's what we are missing, because, you know, the prison industrial complex, it locked up a lot of our family members on garbage crimes. It didn't do that to mainstream populations. And so people lost that contact of that long family legacy. But I know with you, brothers like yourself, like also some of the guys you work with, and Dwayne Wade Sr., we got to tell that story.
That's my partner. That's my brother.
God put the microphone in our hand now. We can't blame somebody if we don't do our research. Right. We can't blame somebody if it's not out there. It's up to us.
It's up to us, right. And like my son made me so proud when he was on TV talking about bringing black Wall Street to Boston.
Yes.
Oh, a whitest city on the planet.
Yeah.
He want to bring it to Boston. Because I went to Boston. I seen rivers and rivers of pilgrims.
Yeah. And you know,
I hardly know black folks.
And you know what? Also, when you look at what Jalen's done also, when you look at the most celebrated Boston Celtic of all time, it's the late, great Bill Russell, 11 championships in 13 years. But a lot of people don't know that he was treated like dirt.
He was.
Outside of having the uniform on, then they loved him.
Yeah.
And that's why I appreciate you, Mr. Brown, because number one, you paid homage to your grandparents. A lot of people don't do that. They might think mom or think dad.
Yeah.
But you paid homage to your grandparents. You doing something they never had the chance to do. No one gave them a microphone. No one said, let's go around the world. No one told your grandparents.
A microphone.
Exactly. And they had the church's pulpit, though. That was the microphone for black folks.
Right.
So
that was it. That's all we do with church.
Exactly. And if we can't learn to take that message.
And if you wasn't going to church, you wasn't living in Bible, grandmama.
Exactly. And that's what I appreciate. And hopefully we can, for me personally, I love what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. I don't blame nobody if I don't go out there and learn what I need to learn about my history and share that with the whole diaspora of the world. And young brothers like you that are doing so much to help other people, I'm more emboldened because your story's not going to be told on those other mainstream networks. Unless something bad happens, then they want to put you all over the television. But your story of going around the world, helping people, you're really proselytizing, spreading the gospel. You're doing it with sports,
That's
too.
all I'm doing.
I'm proud of you.
I'm doing it in my way.
I'm proud of you. As we close out, I want you to finish this. As far as people that want to get a hold of you, I know there's media relations and publicity. How can they reach out to you?
I don't do social media, but you can go to my website, newchampfoundation.org.
Yes.
And you can go there and then, call me if you need help, assistance, and stuff like that. I'm there for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the one message I want to get to these young women, because, you want to blame everything on the dad, but it's your too.
Yes.
Stop running to get assistance, because that assistance is crippling our neighborhoods and our family values.
Wow.
Period.
Well, that is very well said. This is Big C Sports, Charlton Curry talking to Mr. Marcellus Brown. And the man, he may be 55, but he's on the front line of his professional career. He's not finished. A lot of athletes say their careers are over when they hit 30-something, late 30s. You're just getting started with what you're doing, helping other people. I appreciate you very much, and I wish you the very best going forward, if that makes sense to you.
Thank you, brother. Hey, anytime you want to call me. Let's do it.
We will do that.
I know you are.
I will do that. Mr. Marcellus Brown, I thank you. Have a super fantastic day.
You too.
I'm telling you, I have a T-Mobile commercial.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it.
That's the new T-Mobile commercial. You heard it first on Big C Sports. It's so good. I'm going to play it one more time.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's it.
I love it. This is Big C Sports coming to you live on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. Really do appreciate that. Have the great, I'm telling you, Marcellus Brown is an amazing man. Also, Dwayne Wade Sr. talking about what they're doing. And their children as well. Dwayne Wade, Hall of Famer basketball player Jalen Brown plays for the Boston Celtics, talking about bringing the Black Wall Street to Boston, Massachusetts. Really do appreciate that. And I love what I get to do with Big C Sports. I can have the pleasure of talking to men who are doing great things in life. And I really do want to commend them for that. Also, coming up on the big fight nights are coming soon. A big heavyweight fight that I'm also looking forward to coming up as Ngannou is going to fight Tyson Fury. Francis Ngannou. He has a strong belief in his ability to stun the world. And I'm telling you, it's a fight because a lot like Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, you got a boxer going against a UFC guy. And Tyson Fury also, he's obviously, it's not the era of Muhammad Ali. We don't have the era of George Foreman. And obviously Mike Tyson, not in his prime as a fighter. But what I like is the fact Tyson Fury obviously doing his thing in the ring, and I'm telling you, this former UFC champion, Francis Ngannou, is set to step into the boxing ring for the first time on October 29th against Tyson Fury in Saudi Arabia. The bout is going to adhere to traditional boxing regulations and will be officially recorded on both fighters' career records. However, it's important to note that Fury's heavyweight championship title will not be up for grabs in this match with Ngannou because it's not ranked by the WBC. And Ngannou said he's looking forward to the fight, and he's talking about his power is going to be, if anyone mistakes his power, it's going to be a huge mistake. And he talked about that to some other sports outlets. But this is a fighter, and Francis Ngannou, that's very skilled in the world of MMA. In the world of boxing, he obviously knows boxing skills versus MMA. Tyson Fury is a straight boxer. And so I want to talk more about that as we get into it. But earlier this year, Ngannou, he relinquished his world title and severed ties with the UFC in pursuit of securing a high-stakes boxing match. And I think he's going to do quite well. I want to see how the money from Las Vegas will flow into it. I don't know that yet, but it just came out. But I'm looking forward to see that because it's important. There's something about the world of boxing that's maybe taken somewhat of a backseat to MMA. Don't want to make anyone mad at me when I say that, but MMA, they fight like every week. Every week there's an MMA fight. It's promoted more so than boxing. And so that's why I say it's taken over. But this fight's going to be in Saudi Arabia, and then Big C Sports is asking for $6 billion. You guys in Saudi Arabia, make Big C Sports Podcast a household name. I've done the Olympics, NFL, NBA. It's all over the world. Really do appreciate that. But I'm going to talk more about that as I get closer to that fight that's coming up October the 29th. I want to give that some praise. Two great men, two great fighters, two great champions. And they say, let's get ready to rumble! As they say, let's get ready to rumble. Big C Sports will be there along with them, trying to get them to rumble. I want to also make sure, as I talked about with Marcellus Brown, I love paying homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because reparations, what did President Abraham Lincoln say? He said, reparations now, reparations forever. And that's what I'm pushing for, reparations now and reparations forever with the task force coming up. I'll be talking more about that and other shows. Today's show was a little bit different. Really do appreciate having some special guests on. But I also want to say to everybody, as we talk about the Black Wall Street with Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics and his father on the California Reparations Task Force, there's some brilliant people that I've had conversations with, and we'll have more conversations with coming up. It's the chair, Camila Moore, and the vice chair, Dr. Amy C. Brown, California Senator Stephen Bradford, Council Member Monica Montgomery Steppe, Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer, Dr. Shel Grillis, Attorney Lisa Holder, Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, and Donald K. Tamaki. I want to give them some praise as they also had conversations with Big C about reparations. Will we say reparations now? Reparations forever? That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber. You could call Lyft. You could call a cab. You can sleep it off. You can walk it off. The life you save may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, I just had a great boxer on the program, so how appropriate is this? Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. With all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. I'm always rumbling. And I really do appreciate having boxers on the Big C Sports Podcast. As my beautiful mother always says, there's never, ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And that's why I tell you, if you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. So as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. In the words of the great Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. Say it 2 more times. In the words of the great President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. And say it 1 more time as if you just won the game. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.